Hey folks, Andy here, hope you're fit and well. Right, I want to put a pedal on my board. And the other day I was watching a video from Vertex Effects where Mason talks about prepping pedals for board builds. He makes some good points. I thought I'm going to take some of those, run with them and see what happens. So this pedal takes a battery, unlike say this one, which is a small format, so it's power supply only. This one you can power supply or battery it. And unlike a Boss pedal, it does not have a separate compartment. The battery just goes in the main part of the pedal where it can rattle around. Now, batteries, if you leave them long enough, have a horrible habit of corroding. You get this kind of corrosive, crusty crap that forms around the terminals, and in some cases, they will even burst the cases. None of that stuff is good for electronics, so it makes sense. Don't put batteries in pedals that are going to be permanently fixed onto a pedal board. Nice point. I actually checked my board and found out that I have got some that have had batteries in for a long time on there, so I will be fixing that. Right, where you have a battery, you have a battery connector. The battery connector has these little press-stud fasteners on it, and this can rattle around inside the pedal case, and you've got exposed electronics in there. That's not a good thing. So Mason talks about ways to just insulate these to make the clip safe. And one of the things you can do is obviously stick a bit of insulating tape over it, but I'm not a great fan of using sticky stuff where you can't access it. Eventually that's going to go tacky, it's probably going to fall off, and you're just going to end up with a sticky mess in your pedal and lose the protection that you've gone to the trouble of putting in there. Mason also talks about using shrink wrap, which you would put over the terminal strip and then heat up, and it shrinks down, locks in place. I don't have any of a suitable size for this, so I thought, right, let's have a little look round and see. There must be something that does this job. And I remembered that I've had batteries in the past that have come with little protective clips on them. And these things are great because you put them on your battery, and then if you've got your battery in a bag or something like that, it avoids getting shorted out against odd bits of metal that are lying in there. And of course, it'll fit on a battery clip. So there you go. That's the clip in place, and you can still see the terminals from the side, but as we're not really going to be going in there and jamming screwdrivers into things, I think that'll do the job. Now, the downside of these clips, and this really quite surprised me, is I found them on eBay, and you know, that's what the clip, you can see that, yeah, it's just a little tiny bit of molded plastic. The worst price I found for these on eBay was £4.60, something like £4.60 each, just for one of these. And the best price I found was £3.60 for three, something like that, which for a little tiny bit of plastic seems ridiculously expensive. So a couple of things that occur. One is that you can actually buy packs of battery clips with wires on them, much cheaper. Just snip the wires off and that'll probably pretty much do the job for you anyway. But I went online and had a much around, and I found these guys. Now, this isn't about Rapid Online specifically, but these guys are a UK electronics supplier, and these things like 12p each on there. Yeah, I had to pay shipping, but even so, it makes a massive difference when you've got a few of them to do. Now, I still think that's ridiculous. I think they should be like a halfpenny each or something, but 12p versus nearly a fiver, that's well worth a look at. So don't waste your money on silly expensive versions of these. Same thing, same part number, same manufacturer. Okay, next thing. Mason talks about shielding. When you have a metal case that completely surrounds the electronics in a pedal, and you earth it via your guitar lead through your amp and so through to the mains earth, you create a Faraday cage around the electronics, and that keeps RFI out. Now, when I was tuning this pedal, this is an Occo Diablo Overdrive, and it has a couple of trim pots in it, and I had this lying on my pedal board, guts up like that, and just adjusting the pots, and this was completely quiet. My board's got a very good power supply on it. It doesn't throw out a lot of noise, but I have in the past had a power supply which was so noisy that even plugging it in to a power strip near the board and not connecting it to anything threw all sorts of crap out. So it's probably worthwhile making the most. You've got metal casing, make the most of it. Now, the whole thing has to be earthed and has to be completely surrounding the electronics for this to work. And if you look at the bottom of this pedal, it's got this beautiful orange coating all the way around it that doesn't conduct electricity. That means that when you put the bass on it, the bass isn't connected. This may make no difference, but Mason talks about taking a Dremel tool, and you can just see inside the screw holes there, the finish is off this pedal. Now, I did that. I didn't use my Dremel. I just used a crosshead screwdriver. But the idea is that when you put the screws in, the head of the screw makes contact with the base, and the thread of the screw makes contact with the case, so you get electrical connection all the way around. The electronics are surrounded pretty much by metal, and it does the job. It's just worth saying, I don't know if you can see here, but if you look on the inside where the jack socket is fitted, you can just see the disc where the manufacturer has stripped the metal back on the inside so that you get an electrical connection to the jack and therefore through the lead and onto earth. So that's a good one. The other thing that really struck me that he talks about in his video is if you've got a pedal that's been sitting around for a while, cleaning the contacts, and that makes a huge amount of sense. Now, Mason uses Deoxit contact cleaner, which is probably about the best stuff you can get. And what he does is he squirts it into the hole in the pedal. Now, this pedal has jack sockets which are enclosed. Some just have like skeleton sockets which are open, and that means that when you're spraying stuff into the socket, you're spraying it all over the inside of the pedal. Now, in his case, he's using top quality stuff. It's probably going to do no harm, but you do get lower quality contact cleaners out there that can do nasty things to plastics, and it is probably worthwhile not just sort of randomly spraying it all over the inside of your pedal. All you need to do is take a jack plug, take a bit of tissue paper, squirt the contact cleaner onto tissue paper, wipe it on, or just spray straight on, and just plug it in and out a couple of times. You can get special cleaning jack plugs which have a slight abrasive finish on them, but you really don't need it. Just use contact cleaner and clean it out that way, and there you go, job done. So I'm going to assemble this, see if it seems to make any difference. I suspect it won't, because I don't seem to have any of the problems that that we're aiming to fix, but it's not going to do any harm. Okay, look after yourselves. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye for now.